today's recording, so you can slow me down, speed me up whenever you need to, or review. You'll also get a copy of today's slides, but in order to do that, you have to comment in the question box. That's why I spent so much time, the first 5 minutes of our time together, really delving into how you can find that question box, because it's where you can get all the goodies. It's also where you can communicate with me, even though it's one way. It's going to be you typing and me speaking back. I will respond back, but absolutely. Jolene, I see you here with the Ada Public Library. Thank you for being a Google partner. So thank you, everyone, but do make sure you do make a comment there in the question box. That's what the system is going to pick up. And tomorrow, it won't be today, but it will be tomorrow when the video renders and the slides will be ready, and we'll email it out to you tomorrow. Okay, so do make a comment there. All right, let's go ahead and dive in. Today, we're going to be talking about how we can collaborate, work, and meet remotely, or collaborate, meet, and work remotely. And I do want to start that out with a few things that maybe we've got some best practices in place, but what I've also found in working with remote teams all over the world is that a lot of these practices were implemented within the first 6 months when COVID hit, but then after that, we all got into bad habits of being connected 24/7. So do keep your routine. Remember to put yourself above everything else, because if you aren't here, if you aren't healthy, then none of the rest of the things matter. All the other things will break and won't work. So it's really important that you give yourself breaks and time. I am speaking from experience. Just on Monday, I did a whole nerve conductor test because I've been sitting at my computer desk for too long, and that has a lot to do with everything that's happening. So do know that you need to give yourself breaks, even if it's a timer, even if you need to write it down and schedule yourself as if you were at an office, because this is your office. This is your remote office. My cousin was wonderful. He said, hey, you're a coffee drinker. He said, when you get the end of a cup and you go refill your cup, walk around, spend some time moving, stretching, do your yoga, do all of that. So again, for you, find a routine, find a dedicated work spot, because when you can work from anywhere, and it's wonderful when you can. I mean, I've got a laptop, I've got a tablet, I've got 2 phones. I mean, I can work from anywhere, any seat in the house. The problem is, though, then it's too easy for you to do that 24/7. Schedule your breaks. Make sure you have the tools that you need within arm's length. That is something that is a known challenge, because most of us on a given day will search for about something that we've misplaced for about 15 minutes. We have things close to us within our workspace in arm's length whenever we're working on our devices that is that we don't use. We haven't used in over a year, but it's close. It's in prime real estate. But everything else that we need, we have to stretch for, we have to go for. It's further away and it needs to be closer, or we're searching for it. Do know that if you lose 15 minutes in a given day, then over the course of a year, you have lost 2 weeks, 2 entire weeks of time that you could have back. And that's wonderful. We always like gifts of time. So think about ways you can organize yourself with to-do lists that you can also, again, when you're not working, you're not working, you're out. All right, today we're going to be talking about how you can communicate from anywhere and everywhere with Google Meet and the calendar, Google Calendar. How many of you used Google Meet? Let me know in the question box. Say if you've used it or if you've heard of it, but you haven't tried it out. We'll also talk about how you can collaborate from anywhere, like Drive, share, or comment. And then, of course, everything that I'm speaking about today is 100% free. 100% available with your free personal Gmail account or free personal Google account. And I always end with more resources, right? Right. Thank you, Kelly. I appreciate that. So you're used to using it and you love it. I've heard of it, but I haven't used it yet. Love Google Calendar. Perfect, Kim. Welcome, Kim. Thanks for being here. So think about that. Have you used Google Meet? Have you used Google Calendar or Drive? Let me know in the comments, okay? And I am, let me see, where did my, there we go. Oh, there it is. Let me get that out of the way. Let me see if I can bring this up just to find out a little bit. There we go. Sorry, but I had a little bit of got a little internet warning, sorry. I don't control the internet, so I just want to make sure that you can still see that, okay? Let's see. Oh my goodness, Andrew, how funny. So Andrew's saying here, your 15-minute anecdote is the same one I use to encourage waking up early. How funny is that? Yes, when you just 15 more minutes makes all the difference in the world, sets the tone, right, Andrew? So thank you for being here, Andrew, and finding that question box. I'm glad you're here. Welcome. Now, we talked about that all of those are free with your personal free Gmail account or your free Google account. what you're seeing in front of you is this in the screen is an animation of how you can access this through your Google account. So when you're in your Gmail account, if you'll look at the top right-hand corner, you'll see here the top, that keypad. We call it the app waffle, the one the trainers do, but it is a keypad, and that is where you can access all the free apps that you have available to you through your free Google tools, okay? So let me show you that. I'm going to, that's why I was checking the internet, because I do try to do as many live breakaways as I can. So you're gonna see me throw this in the screen real quick. This is my demo account. So this is a Gmail account. It's that keypad right here where the Google apps sit. Click on there. I'm determined to talk about food, waffle and apple, but it's the app keypad. And then now you can go here to your Google Drive. You can also go to your Google Docs here. But Google Drive is where we're going to start. Okay, so you'll click on this, and what happens when you click on this, it does bring up an entire new tab. And the reason I start with Drive is because a lot of people, when they save things in Google and they don't understand that Google Drive is always saving, it does it automatically, but they don't understand exactly where it's at. So I start with Drive because that's where everything lands after Google saved it. Now, what it looks like if you're in a Google account, let me show you. So that's a little bit different. So this is if you're in a Gmail account, but you don't have to have a Gmail account. If you have your own email, what you'll do is set up a free Google account. You'll go to google.com/accounts and you'll use your email address. It doesn't change it to Gmail. Create a password, and like any other password protected site online, that's what you'll use to access it. And when you do access it, it will look like this. Okay, see that? Let me make that a little bit bigger since I'm broadcasting. So you won't have the email interface because you're not using it for email. You don't have to have Gmail, but you can use the free Google account, and you can still go here to the app keypad and have access to all the free apps. All right? Just want to make sure you see that. It's a little bit easier sometimes than the animation to see. So now we're going to be talking about how you can communicate from anywhere. And I do encourage you to become really familiar with this, practice it, because Google Meet is a wonderful tool. It is 100% free in your Google account already. It's there. If you have a free personal Gmail or a free Google account, you don't have to have the paid Workspace account. Now, what you can do with Meet, you can actually meet from desktop, you can meet from phone, you can host meetings. You see here up to 250 people. You'll see it's very similar to Zoom. You can also record meetings, and you can also make sure that those are secure meetings. They're safe, they're secure as you pass them around. But you don't have to worry about another program or paying for another license. Everything is right here, and you can see some of the tips at the lower left-hand corner about security to find out more information about how secure the tool is, because it is Google. It is running all the different email programs, so absolutely security is at the topmost priority for Google. Now you can see the free version here. You can have unlimited numbers of meetings and the hours per meeting. Okay, let's just stop there, because it's not 24 hours of meetings. So it's not over the course of 24 days. If you have an hour meeting, it is not that. It means 24 hours of an entire meeting. So if you're in a meeting for 24 hours, if I know I'm in meetings all day long, but if I'm in a meeting for 24 hours, kill me now. That's too long to be in a meeting, but that is the length of the meeting that you can have there. Unlimited meetings, it's free. So you could have, again, 250 or 100 people in the free version. Just jump on and you're not paying per user. But if you do want to go up to 250, there is a paid plan. And you can, of course, with the 250, you get a per user charge, but that's only when you're going up to 250 people. Most of the time, I use this, the 100% free, because it's just easy. We're usually less than 100, especially when you're having a working meeting or a brainstorming meeting, right? It's really difficult to have a group that big. Now, what you could do with Google Meet is you can just jump on right away. For example, I was talking to Sam yesterday. So we were talking actually at 8 o'clock last night, because I'd taken a little break for dinner, and we were talking. And I said, oh, this is what I'm seeing on my screen. And I said, hey, let's just jump on a meet. I'll show you. And so I jumped on and I was able to show her, compared to, let me screenshot this. Let me attach this. Let me explain as well as I can so you can, with my words, hear and see, or in text, see exactly what I'm seeing in front of me, and us have the same picture. It's one of the leadership exercises, if you've ever done that, where you actually give somebody instructions, you're back to each other, and the other person has to draw something, giving your instructions, and you always get something different than what you intended. So it's much better when they can see exactly what it is you're referencing. And this does help you get a little bit more connected, but you can also have meetings, have interviews. A lot of businesses are using this for interviews. You can have client consultations, and you can even have classes just like we are today. So what you'll see here to get to Google Meet is you'll go to this URL right here, or it could be that you access it from your calendar. Anytime you schedule anything in Google Calendar, it gives you the option to set up a Google Meet already. That way it's scheduled in, the link is sent out in email and also in the calendar to everyone. They have every which way to get there. And that is what Google does like to do, is to make sure that you have several access points to the same thing. So the first option is to use Google Meet is to go to the Google Meet URL that you saw first. Let me go back to that right here, meet.google.com. You'll go here. Once you go there, it gives you the opportunity to start a new meeting, or it may give you an opportunity to join a meeting, okay? Especially if somebody just started one and they gave you the meeting link, it'll give you, instead of new meeting here, it'll say join meeting. Or it could be that you're joining your job interview. And a lot of people are actually utilizing this for interviews, but also using it for being able to practice their interviews, because you do want to practice. You don't want to be the person that's interviewing or talking to somebody and you're doing this because you're looking at the screen below the camera, so they're only seeing your forehead and the top of your head. You do need to make good eye contact. That still builds trust and absolutely establishes rapport when we can look at that, and you need to be able to know exactly what looking down or where that camera center is, okay? Now you can also get started with Google Calendar. So it could be coming from Google Calendar that your meet actually happens. And what happens here is whenever you're scheduling a day, so or an event or a time, you put the title, the day and the time, you actually can select that. And right there, it gives you the opportunity to add Google Meet, the video conferencing, to your meeting. So it pretty much is intuitive. You walk all the way through and you get to the opportunity to make that decision. You can leave it alone if you don't want to meet by Google Meet. Maybe you're having a phone call, maybe this is in person, maybe you're meeting in another platform and you'd like to drop that link in. But this is if you want to enable and already schedule a Google Meet. There's no other steps involved. Nice and easy. What I loved about that is the ease, because as everything happened back in March 2020, you know, it was getting close to my mom's birthday, and we weren't all able to be there, but it was really easy. And my mom's 83 years old, so she had never done a video meeting ever, and here I was remotely now talking her through how to start a Google Meet, and she was there instantly, got to see all the grandkids, we recorded it, it was great, and she just loved every minute of it, and she felt so empowered because she did it herself in a few simple steps, right? Can people without Google attend a meeting? They can attend the meeting, but they will be given the opportunity to start a free Google account, but they can't attend the meeting. They just need the link. That's all they need, okay? But of course, it's not going to be in their face like a pop-up, Andrew. So they can still click on and go forward, all right? But great question. That's really, really good. Now, how you can add more details. I always like to click more options here because this by default comes up. It's just a quick, these are some of the basics of the meeting you can set up. But I click on more options because I'm one of those people that believe you don't ever go to a meeting without an agenda. And so I like to give an agenda. I like to give an idea of when we're starting, when we're stopping, what we're covering, who's going to be in the hot seat, or who's going to be the focus, or what's going to be the focus. So again, I like to put more options there. You can include that, links to notes. You'll see once you click more options, it already sets up the ability for your notes to be taken within Google Docs. So if you're not familiar with Google Docs, it works just like Word. So Google Docs is just like Word, Google Slides is just like PowerPoint, and Google Sheets is just like Excel without any additional license, and it's all through your free Google tools. So let me show you a little bit about how that looks once you put more options. All right, see here when you have more options, and this is email to somebody inviting them to the event, they have the link to join Google Meet here, as well as if you scroll here further towards the bottom, you would see all the different options like the clicking through to notes. If there's an agenda in there, all of that's included. They can write from their email, say yes, maybe, or no that they will attend the meeting. Now also you can go straight here from the calendar. They can use that link and click immediately from their calendar. When they get the little calendar reminder on their screen or notification on their phone, they can click here and join the meeting right away from the actual calendar schedule. Now, what this looks like when you're joining it, you can here be on the phone. It looks just like this. You'll have some questions asked here, or actually if you want to join now, if you want to present. You also have the opportunity right up here, when you click on those three dots, you can faintly see that because it is a light background, but there are three dots right here, and you can choose the settings of your camera, and you can also choose the settings of your microphone. Because I have several cameras and several mics, I always have to do that anytime I go into a Google Meet, because it wants to choose all of them, and or choose one that it favors, or the last one that I use, and I might be changing to something else. So here are some of the features of Google Meet, and feel free to ask your questions in the question box, because that's what it's there for, and your time here is very custom to what you need. So I need to know what it is that you need, that you have questions about. The controls are at the very bottom. We call this right here, the very bottom hamburger menu is what it's called. You'll see you have the opportunity to make your mic on, hot, live, or muted. You can also, right here, it's a phone hanging up. You can leave the meeting. If you accidentally click that center one and you're in a meeting, not to worry, just click back on the link to join. You'll come right back in. As long as there's other people in the meeting, you'll be able to join right back in. This is to control your camera. You can turn it on or turn it off. Look at the profile picture that you have saved on your Google account or that's broadcasting, because by default, it will be just your initials, okay? And up here at the top right-hand corner, you'll see a chat box there. And that's where people can chat privately with you, that they can share one-on-one or for you to the team. Okay, so you could do that too. Now, the next part in the bottom, you can see you can present. So you can present your entire screen, you can present a window, or just a tab. So right now I have two screens actually, so I'm presenting from my second screen. You'll see that there, the entire screen. But if I wanted to do just a window or a tab, I could do that. I choose not to because I'm broadcasting. And when you are broadcasting, a window or tab, especially if you're looking at text on a screen, can sometimes be a little bit small. Keep that in mind. You do have the ability to use your entire screen if you want to. You also have the opportunity to record the meeting. All the controls will happen here. When you bring up this right here, these three dots right here, that's where you take care of all the control. You see, you have the opportunity to go full screen, to turn on captions if you need to. Luckily today we have Yvonne doing live in-person captions, so we're getting all the real stuff, and I appreciate that. But you could also record the meeting from here, because you might need to review some notes or have something saved for somebody who was not able to attend a meeting. Maybe this wasn't the right time zone. You can see all of those controls here. The big thing now, and the best practices in going into any video conference, any video meeting, but especially here at Google Meet, since we're talking about the Google tools, is to look at the camera. Remember what I said, look what's behind you too. We've all, excuse me, I didn't want to do that in your ear, but we have all been in meetings where we've seen way too much. We've seen the unmade bed. We've seen that spouse come out of the bathroom who did not know that you were on a video call. So we've seen all of that, or your significant other. So do take a look at that, because that's important. Check your microphone quality, because we'll all be very forgiving of the video quality, but never of sound. If it's a little bit choppy, in and out, too faint, we'll leave. Also, mute your microphone when you're not speaking. This is really important, because we don't always hear, we become a little bit numb and accustomed to the sounds that are around us. And we might not hear that clicking that the microphone might be picking up, and everybody else is hearing it for the first time in the meeting. So unless you're speaking, unless you've been addressed a question, mute your microphone. That's best practice. And you'll see here that solid clothing, like I'm wearing here, the black Grow with Google shirt, does best, because it's just a little bit hard for the camera to adjust. Now I will tell you that this is something that I would keep in mind if I was having a first meeting, first impression, if I was doing an interview. I would definitely keep this in mind. But because I do go on camera, ease all during the day, I could be in a sweatshirt. It really doesn't matter, depending on, or the difference depends on how you're going to use it and when you're going to use it. Make sense? Any questions so far before we go to the next section? Please find that question box. A few people came in just now, and I wanted to let you know you can find the question box by using that control panel to the right of this platform. It says questions, and just type in there, okay? Now, how can you collaborate from anywhere? Because that's really important. We can use all of these tools that we can find in the app keypad. Remember what I said, Sheets is like Microsoft Excel, Docs is like Word, Slides is like PowerPoint, Google Drive saves everything. Whether you have a program that can open it or not, it saves everything. I love using it with graphic designers. I do not have the entire graphic design Adobe suite on my computer at all, but I can transfer, look, and store designs people have done in my Google Drive. I don't have to have a program associated with it. It holds everything. Google Photos, you can use to back up photos, to store your photos, to share photos. So you're not wondering when you're sharing things, just like with Google Docs, you do it as an attachment. Now you wonder, well, do you have version 1, version 2? Do you have what we were shooting behind the altar or in front of the altar? Let's say if you're sharing wedding photos. So Photos is a great tool. I actually have all of my photos. I connect my photo account there with the drive into my phone. So anytime I take a photo, it's immediately uploaded into my Google Photos. And again, up to 15 gigabytes, the storage is free. If you need more than that, then you can also purchase more, but it's not that much to do that. And it is nice, safe, and secure. There's also Chrome, which is a browser. If you're a marketer, Chrome is really important because there's so many functionalities in Chrome that can be used, excuse me, as a marketer. And then of course, Gmail. A lot of people do know Gmail because it is a free Google account, a free Gmail account, an email account. And many of us have way too many Gmail accounts because it's so easy to start those, right? So how you can access the Google Drive is you can go straight to this URL. And remember, if you want a copy of today's slides and the recording, do make a comment in the question box, because that's how you can get a recording of this if you'd like to review anything or if you're coming in late and you missed something, okay? You could go to this URL and do that here, or you can use the app keypad like I was showing you a moment ago to be able to get to Google Drive. It's the primary colored triangle there. Now, once you're in Google Drive, let me see, you can see that is where all your slides are actually stored. You'll have the opportunity to see that there. You can organize that or put those in folders however you see fit. Hello, Stella, I do see you. Let me see here, there we go. You can also do that from a mobile device. So I can access all of these from a mobile device. I've updated presentations when I'm on the phone, waiting to see the dentist, when I'm on the airlines, because sometimes I already have offline access set here and I'm making an adjustment. And as soon as I get back in connection, it's going to adjust the actual item. And I don't ever have to worry about, do I have the latest version here on the phone compared to over here within my drive? I have everything together, and you can do that exactly from your mobile device. Now, you can see you can save all kinds of files, but specifically, this is slides like PowerPoint. This is Word, this is docs like Word. And of course, you can put PDFs in there, portable document formats. You also have the opportunity in Drive to be able to share, or any of these tools to share at whatever level you'd like. You can get super granular by naming people by email. So only these people can edit it, but everybody else with the anyone can look at link can look at it, they just can't edit it. You might want to do that. Let's say you're sharing this with your board of directors and you want your finance, your accountant, your bookkeeper to be able to make adjustments to the budget, but you want to send the budget out to the board without them deleting a cell, deleting an area of the spreadsheet, or deleting a formula, or changing everything. They just need to be able to view that. Okay, so yes, Yesenia, I see you. Welcome, Yesenia. So that's how you can share. You can share many different ways, and I'll show you that in the next animations, and then I'll try to go to a live, as long as the internet is playing friendly with us. So you see here in Google Drive how you can start any of those new things like the doc, the sheets, or the actual slides is you'll click on New, then a drop-down menu will appear. You now have the opportunity to select from there a blank actual spreadsheet or a blank document. Or do you want to use the template? You could use that because there's a whole template gallery of things that are already built out for you. And then now you can save it. It'll immediately save it into your Google Drive. So that's what you see happening in the animation. Let me show you that real quick here. All right. I'm going to play like we're coming from, excuse me, a Google account. Excuse me again. Sorry. Let's go here. Let me do my Google account here. All right, so let's say you're coming from your Google account. All right, can everybody see that? I'm on a live demo right here. You'll click the app keypad, you'll click Drive, it opens up another tab. All right, when you open up the other tab, you'll click New. And the reason I start with Drive, everybody, is because that's where everything's saved. I don't want you searching for where everything's saved, because everything is automatically saved within Google. You'll click here, New. You're going to click, let's say we're going to do a sheet. Let's say Google Sheets. That works just like Excel, Hover over this arrow here. You can start with a blank spreadsheet or from a template. If you choose from a template, it will bring up the template gallery, which is super small right now. Let me make that a little bigger. So many different free templates already laid out for you. A lot of small businesses I know use this even for their payroll. But let's say you're putting together an expense report, okay? Click on the actual template that you want. Click on that. You'll see this thinking, and then it populates with the actual expense report, everything already there and laid out, and now you just need to customize it. It is saving this to your Google Drive. You have not adjusted or made any changes to the template gallery. That is static, that never changes. But when you do save it, it brings it in to your Google Drive, and this is what it looks like. Now you can say Maria's expense report. You can just go up here and name it. If you can type and spell, hit enter, it immediately saves it. The only thing difference here, you see it looks just like Excel, but it's different because it doesn't have the little save disk. That little square looks like an old-time floppy disk. It's not there. It automatically is saving. Okay, so now you can share this with people, and when you share it, you saw me say that you can share it by sharing with an email. You can specifically say they can edit, comment, or view, or you can share it by link. And it could be anyone with a link can view it, or maybe you want to say it's restricted only to the people that you list out their email address, or anyone with a link can actually comment or edit. And you can do that as well by sharing it by link or by email. But now you can customize this to your own. You can organize it by starring it at the very top so it shows up right at the very top of your Google Drive, especially if you're working with it. Or maybe you've already set up folders and you can click here to move it to another folder. I'm going to say it's needed. This is for the marketing team folder. I'm going to click here and I'm click move it here, and I'll be able to find it right away, not have to search, right? We don't want to lose time searching for things. So you have the ability to do all of that with your Google account, your Google Drive. And again, this is free, a free Google account. Clicking new, I can also go to Google Docs. I can go from a template. This works just like Word. You'll see, okay, that is big already. If I wanted to do meeting notes, I can do a meeting note. It just is thinking. Now it brings it into your Google Drive. It's automatically saved into your Google Drive. All right, the same thing with slides, which works like PowerPoint. New slides, I can do a blank one. I can go from a template. If I go from a template, now I can choose any of these templates. Let's say I want to pitch my big idea. And so I'm going to pitch my big idea. It's thinking, it populates it, and now I can customize this any way that I'd like to. If I want to change the theme, if I want to adjust the colors, if I want to delete a slide, I can do all of that here, okay? So you have all of that available, and that is all free. Now, do also know this little trick, because a lot of people don't know this. If I'm using Google Slides, and I'd like to download that to a machine. I don't want to do it online because maybe I'm having a little bit of a wonky connection, delayed internet. I can download this as a PowerPoint or a PDF. A PDF is portable document format. It keeps the integrity of your document together, but it doesn't work like a PowerPoint or a slide. You can't animate, you can't adjust there. So depending what you'd like to download it as, you can. If you just want to download this one page, this one slide, as a photo, a JPEG, you can. So a JPEG is a photo. It's also PNG is a photo, and much clearer, crisper photo. Okay. I wanted you to see that in slides. In Meet, you can also share this like I showed you here. All of this works the same with the sharing. You can share it by email address, or you can share it by link and set how you want everybody to see it and how much access they actually have. Okay. So they can edit it if they want, and then you can click done if you want to. But you can also file, download as a Word document or as a PDF if you'd like. With Google Sheets, file, download, Excel, or a PDF. So you have all of those formats available to you. Helpful? Is that helpful to you? All right. Let me know in the question box. Again, if you're just coming in, the question box is where you can comment, and you'll make sure you get a copy of today's slides and the recording from today. So you see they're actually talking here about starting a new document or an actual new template is what the animation is showing you. They are showing you the template gallery. That's everything that I just showed you in a live demo, but you'll have access to that in the slides if you would like to review it with this animation. There we go. You can take your document and you can title it just like I was showing you a moment ago. Just click up there, type and hit enter. And now you can share or assign. You can use this share button, but as I said, there are many ways. Google always gives several entry points to different tools. You can use this here to make a comment. Let me show you how to do that live because I did not show you that. All right, let me bring up my live screen here, close this out. We're in Drive. We're going to click New. Google Docs. From a template, the template gallery comes up. We're going to decide to do our meeting notes. We let that come in. We're going to call it Maria's meeting notes and hit enter. I'm going to star it because I actively am working with it and I want it to show up at the very top of my Google Drive. But let's say I'm not sure who all the attendees are going to be. So what I can do is I can highlight all of this. When I highlight them, I've got to make this a little smaller though for you to see it there. When I highlight them, this comment box comes up and I can say, are these all who are attending? And I can leave that comment there. But I could also comment from up here. Remember what I said about Google and several different ways to get there? I can comment from up here too. So that also works the same as when I highlighted this and the comment box showed up. Now, if I wanted to comment directly to somebody else, let's say I'm going to make a comment here, and this is just for Maria. I would put her email address in there, and I would say, Maria, will you please add your thoughts? And then I can assign it to her. Once I hit assign, it is going to give her the ability to comment back there, and she can comment back in her email. She will get an email. It links directly to this comment. It will open this up and she can comment there. Okay, so those are some cool things you can do there. Even if you're not using Google Docs, which I encourage you to do because it's free and easy, but if you're using another tool, make sure you know your way around to be able to share like this because it makes it much easier when you're working remotely. All right. You see, you can also collaborate in sheets. You can assign different tasks. You can have an entire team to do tasks and see how Pamela here is adding in Randy's email because she's making a specific comment to Andy, Randy assigning it to her and wanting to make sure that Randy sees it. It will come in her email if she's not within Google Sheets to get the notification. You can see you can also ask questions. You know, do we want to say this here on this slide, or do we need to get into a little bit more depth or make it a little bit lighter? Maybe we've got too much text on that slide. We can also download in different formats, just like I showed you. And you can make it available offline. You heard me mention that when I said working in an airplane, because of course we're not connected, or at least, you know, sometimes it's wonky. If there's internet connection, it's not always working. So I do make sure that I keep all of my docs made available offline if I need to make any edits. Then when I'm connected back, it gets the latest version and I don't have to worry about that horrible back and forth of, do you have version 1 or do you have the version from earlier this afternoon? Because she put out another version. You have everything together there. So again, as I said, I love to be able to end with good free resources and a recap because I like for you to take action. Understand that you can waste a lot of time learning lots of things. Knowledge is not power unless it's applied. Okay, this is really important because my friend Jo says it best when she says that it is knowledge knowing that the tomato is a fruit, but it is applied knowledge, not putting that fruit in the fruit salad, because you don't want a tomato there, right? So let me know what your questions are in the question box. That's what they're here for as we finish up today. I do want you to play with Google Meet. Become familiar with it. And I apologize for that. Looks like it's scrunched a little bit, but it is meet.google.com. You can also go into Google Drive, find out what you can save there, feel real comfortable with it, get a good feel how you can save and file things there, organize it right here, and then try out a Google Meet. It's free already in your free Gmail or free Google account, and you can practice with somebody. I always encourage practicing because then it'll feel just like really comfortable for you. You'll know exactly how to look in the camera, and once you've accomplished all this, now you can take a look at all the other tools because there's Google Forms there. I love to use this. This is 100% free. It works like, you know, SurveyMonkey. You've got the forms right there. It also populates it immediately into a spreadsheet if you need it there. You can use Google Sites. Google Sites, a lot of companies like to use this. This is 100% free. They'll use it for their internal information like a human resource manual or an onboarding sheet. They'll use this so they can instantly share it. It is it's a website, but you can keep it where it's just private. But if you wanted to use it for business, I know a lot of small businesses, it's 100% free that use Google Sites for their actual site. and there's no cost to that. And you can have the visual presence when people are looking for you, because if people can't find you, they don't know you exist, they can't do business with you. You heard me talk about photos, how I love to back that up. You also have YouTube, right? While Google's the #1 search engine in the world, YouTube is #2. It's also a great place where a lot of people go to learn. This chair behind me is a brand new chair. Remember what I said about making some changes to my computer sitting? This is a brand new chair. Of course, it came with an instruction manual that was like, I mean, it just kept rolling out pages. I just went onto YouTube, looked to see a quick walkthrough of how to put the chair together, and I did it. So that's what I like to do several times in a day. And of course, you have Google Play. If you're on an Android, that's how you can download many of these apps onto your phone. One of the apps that I do want to share with you is Google Primer. It is my favorite app because it is marketing in a box. It really has updated lessons. It's always giving you new, really current information. If you download the app, you can download that for Android in the Google Play Store or in the App Store for iPhone, iOS, and you have quick lesson plans of everything from even how to work remotely or how to collaborate remotely. There are lesson plans in there that you can go through and learn. And even though my degree is an advanced degree in marketing, I learn every single day from utilizing that tool. You can also go to YouTube, like I mentioned, but you can also go here if you want a really quick help, like what do I do to fill out this form? So you can go here directly, but more importantly, you can go to your Google partner that invited you, because they have all the resources, they have the people, they are truly vetted in your success, and they're there to help you. You can go here to this URL and find out everything that we can teach and train on, and then reach out to your Google partner and request that they either do a training on it, they bring in a trainer to do it, they answer and help you with their questions, they ask the Google team because they can message them directly through the Google partner community. They are truly there for you, and I'm excited to work with them because they do all the heavy lifting of this, and I get the fun of getting to hear how you're going to apply it and what you're going to do, because that's my next question. All right, I've been preparing for you for it all the way through the whole presentation. Is what are you going to add to your to-do list? What today was meaningful and helpful to you? And you're going to add that right away so that you do have applied knowledge. Okay, let me know in the question box. And remember, you do need a comment there to get a copy of today's slides and the recording, which will come tomorrow, not today, tomorrow, because it does take time for the actual video to render. But let me know what your questions are. Let me go to the last slide before we do that, or while you're doing that. And that the last slide is what I call the money slide. If you want to screenshot this before you get the slides tomorrow, you'll have every link that I shared with you today. Okay? All right. All right. Gonna use Google Sheets. We got somebody has that on their to-do list. Thank you. Thank you. Good to hear it. Anyone else want to share? Oh, you said, yeah, I'm glad it was helpful. So glad it was helpful. I'm going to stop recording.